So I'm here in Rwanda with my mother. She came to visit me for 10 days and I'm taking time off of work right now to be with her. And the cool part, at least for me, of having MaidThis, which is my local cleaning company, I've had it for 10 years, is I could throttle time as I need. So as she's here, I'm probably working a couple hours a day, managing the team, checking emails, keeping on top of stuff. And when she leaves, I'll kind of ramp up my time for work. And I love having the flexibility of control of time. You know, when I was working a 9 to 5, 2 weeks of vacation a year, that was it. I'd have to ask for permission to do things I want. And look, I know, look, my mom's 70 years old right now. We have only a limited number of these trips left, right? And that's why I want to make it as special as I can. That's why I want to be as present as I can. So I'm living here in Rwanda for 6 months. And we booked this really cool hotel for her. I flew her business class over here.
Hello. Trying to contact you.
Yeah, my mom asked how much it cost for this place. I fully lied to her because immigrant parents, as you know, don't want to spend money on anything. If I told her, she would freak out at me. So I was like, oh, Dad, it wasn't that much. We got it on a deal. It's funny. So she's enjoying her time here. She's landing by the pool. I'm getting her to swim. She has no idea how to swim. It's just fun to see a 70-year-old lady just fully enjoy Africa to its fullest and, you know, take advantage of it. So it's fun to be able to treat my mom. And look, I don't spend money on that kind of stuff, you know, but when my mom comes, she's never the type to spend on herself. And I want to make sure she has a great time. I want to make sure she is able to reap the benefits of her whole life of work. She comes from a generation of immigrants that never spent any money on themselves. All they did was make sure that their kids, like my sister and I, had a nice stable life. They saved, they grinded 7 days a week. And I think it's kind of cool to have the chance to take care of our parents now. And like my dad passed away a couple years ago, so my mom's solo. A large part of me hanging out with her and bringing her out to stuff is to make sure she's taken care of, to make sure I can maximize time, because I understand time scarcity. We don't have that much time left with our parents is the unfortunate truth. You know, I was listening to a talk by Jesse Itzler, who's a famous entrepreneur, and he mentioned this, and it really stuck with me, which is, you know, let's say my mom's 70 years old right now. Let's say she has 10 good years left. I might think, oh, cool, I have 10 years left with my mom. But that's not really the case. If I only see her a couple times a year, I only have 20 more times with my mother, which is crazy. That reframed everything for me, just thinking about it and how much time you have left, not in the grand scheme of time with the person. And because of that, I started bringing my mom out to traveling more. I started spending more intentional time with her.
So how many children are you planning to make?
Yeah, tell me.
Later?
Yeah.
See, even I would like to know.
You see my mom's like, good question.
Good question.
Yeah. Keep asking. And when?
And when?
Yeah. She paid you to ask these questions.
Yes, I did. They would not answer me. So.
Yeah. I think we'd like at least 2.
At least 2.
At least 2. When?
Because
Good
when it
question.
happens, yeah.
And look, you know, my dad passed, unfortunately, from pancreatic cancer. And I understand time scarcity with parents, and I just want to maximize it. So I think it's just very fortunate that I'm able to treat my mom, bring her out to a place like this. Something a lot of people don't know is I actually started MaidThis, the first location, with my mother. So my parents had a video rental store called Video Town. That's my dad's baby. He had it for 32 years, all the way until 2017. But mid-2010s, it wasn't doing as well financially. And so I was working a 9 to 5. I wanted to find something to quit my job and travel. I wanted to find something to also help support my parents financially. So with my mom, we hatched the plan of MaidThis after trying a bunch of stuff and failing at it. And my mom would be the one to, you know, pick up the phones when I was at work. I talk with her during lunch break, just going out, being like, all right, well, like, what's that customer saying? Let's figure it out. And that's how I did it for a couple years before quitting that job and doing full time with MaidThis. And I'm only here right now in Rwanda because of MaidThis. And I think it's just a really cool full circle that my mom could come out and both of us could say, hey, we built this together. And that's why we're here. And that's why, you know, you could be treated as well. I think it's really cool. A lot of my franchisees, my MaidThis franchisees, I see a lot of them working with their parents too, with their mom, with their dads, and building kind of a business together. Building a lifestyle business together to enjoy together. So I just think that's really cool. Recording YouTube content.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What do you think about the lodge?
Wonderful. So relaxing, nice, beautiful, amazing.
You're gonna move here with me?
Oh yeah. Of
Perfect.
course. Perfect.
I had this thought recently. Let's say I'm 36 years old right now. Let's say I live until I'm 80. I calculated the math and it came out to like I have 380,000 hours left. I was like, oh, cool. That sounds like a lot of hours. Then I remember thinking, okay, well, I guess I'm sleeping 8 hours a day. I'm working 8 hours a day. So really I have 8 hours a day left. Then I thought, well, that 8 hours is not fully mine. I have to cook, I have to clean, I have errands, there's things that I just have to do for life admin. So really, I maybe have 4 disposable hours to myself on a daily basis. And I did the math, and that came out to 64,000 hours only. And I remember thinking, well, what if I thought about those hours as dollars? What if I only had $64,000 left in my life bank account, right? I would operate completely differently. If all of us only had $64,000 left for our entire life, right now we trade away our time like candy. Someone says, hey, can I have coffee? Can I have this meeting? Can I pitch you something? And you say, yeah, sure, why not? And you're trading away dollars, $5 here, $1 there. And when I had that realization, like, holy crap, I only have $64,000 left in my life bank account, everything's changed. I stopped taking meaningless meetings. I started traveling more. I started doing things I actually want to do with my disposable time. Because in the life bank account, you don't have overdraft protection. You can't declare bankruptcy and start over. It's done. It's kaput. It's completely gone when it's gone. And that reframing of a life bank account, I think, is so key to know how much time you actually have left and how to maximize that. Arsha, nice fishing.
Hey.
I'm shocked you actually came on.
I know.
Rickety boat. All right, so I just wrapped up the 10 days with my mom visiting Rwanda. She had a freaking awesome time. She had no idea what Rwanda was going to be like, and she was shocked to her core about how clean it is, how nice it is, how no one houses you. Like, she had no idea what she was getting into. So honestly, this was probably one of the most fun trips I've ever had with my mom. And I've traveled with her to probably 4 or 5 different places whenever I've been backpacking. And I think it was so fun for both of us for a couple of reasons. One was just that, you know, as we get older, it's a little bit easier to relate to our parents. I understand a little bit more intimately now that we don't have that much time with our parents, unfortunately. You know, my dad passed a couple years ago, and I remember all the experiences I had with him, and my only regret is not having more of them. You know, like I think we did our best to try to make time for each other and go out and do cool things. But some of my best memories with him are traveling, going to Spain, going to India together, and, you know, just having those random moments in between. It's not exactly about the whole trip, but kind of like those random moments. And I think both my mom and I understood that, and I value the time that she was here so much more than when I was younger. Look, it was a very expensive week, you know, like this is not like a normal week. Like spending $2,000-$3,000 for a weekend at a hotel is insane. But the hotel we stayed at was the nicest hotel I've ever stayed at, the nicest hotel my mom's ever stayed at. It's kind of saying her expression, you know, and how relaxed she was over there was totally worth the whole thing. Look, I don't think you need to spend a ton of money, right? It's not about the money you spend, but just having like unique experiences and knowing when to splurge. And I think that's something I'm trying to get a little bit better at, is knowing when to splurge. Now, an example would be, like, remember like in college, I got like a drinking in public ticket on campus, right? And it was like $350. Remember back then I was devastated. $350 is like a third of my net worth at the time. And I was crushed, absolutely crushed. And it's interesting because now, obviously, like my income's a lot more than it was when I was a college kid. And still, if I think about spending $350 on a hotel, I'm like, dude, that's so much damn money. Like, do I really want to do that? But I don't think a lot of people don't think about it as relative to your current income or current net worth. Like, we still have that mindset of like $300, that's a lot of money, or whatever amount of money it is. And I'm starting to get a little bit better at knowing when to splurge. Like I said, I'm not saying spend a bunch of money just to have experiences. You don't need it. But what I've realized is, if there's opportunity to spend money on an experience, especially if it's treating a loved one, treating your family, treating your mom, treating your dad, it is worth over investing in that. And I think when I was younger, I didn't realize it. So even, you know, with parents visiting or people visiting, I tried to go a little bit on the cheaper end. And now I understand, like, the time's valuable. Spend the money if you need to, right? We're all making money and saving money. What's it for? The whole point of it is to have experiences, to spend money on loved ones, develop these experiences, especially when you're running low on time, unfortunately. The other part, I think the freedom of time and having that ability to create the small moments made this really beautiful. You know, especially over here in Rwanda, we have a cleaner, we have someone who cooks. You know, because of the time zones, I'm not working that much during the day. So it created a nice environment for my mom and I just to talk. So every day we'd drink Indian chai, sit on the balcony right over here, and just kind of people watch. And the most memorable moments, oddly, are not even like just the hotel we went to or whatever. It'd be the very small moments. You know, like right in front of my balcony over here, there's a really fancy looking house. And the whole time we sat outside every single morning, we never saw a single person go in the house, maybe one time. So now I just text her. I'm like, hey, I saw someone go in, right? And it's kind of an inside joke of like, who lives in this place? You know, it's just an ongoing joke between us now. And I think it's just very beautiful to create those small moments. And a lot of those moments only happen when you're in the right environment, when you've cultivated, let's say, a business or some ability to have a little bit more freedom of time to let those small moments curate. And I think those are some of the most special things that you can build, especially with parents. So, one thing I learned, especially with my dad, is we don't really regret the money we spend on experiences with family. I don't regret it one bit. I would have spent 20 times the amount to help make my dad even a little bit more happy, especially now that he's gone. We always just regret experiences we wish we had, but we didn't have a chance to because we thought we had more time left. So just a quick reminder that, hey, everyone's life bank account is running out, right? There's no overdraft protection. There's no declaring bankruptcy. You can't start over. Recognize that and make sure you're doing something about it.